everyone. This is Garrard from Ricepaper magazine, and today we have Jessalyn Wanlim, and I'm just going to do a little bit of introduction to her, although I think everyone knows her because she's very famous. She's originally from Calgary, Alberta. She's of Filipino and Chinese Indonesian descent, and she pursued dance at the National Ballet School of Canada and furthered her artistic endeavors at the Juilliard School in New York. She's widely known for her roles in Gossip Girl, The Closer, Psych, Modern Family, Alex Cross, Scoundrels, as well as a breakout role as Evie Cho in the popular BBC American series Orphan Black. And today we're here to talk about Jessalyn's role as Jenny in season 5 of Working Moms, which involves a not so straightforward romantic entanglement. So let's go talk a little bit about how you got started about becoming an actor, because you were in dance and then you went to school, and so how did this all work out?
I mean, so all my life I'd been dancing, and I ended up getting accepted into the National Ballet School in Toronto when I was 12 years old. So I moved away from home when I was 12 and, started taking dance pretty seriously. Wanted to continue my education instead of going auditioning for dance companies like the typical ballerinas. And I actually got accepted into Juilliard when I was 17. So I took that as an opportunity because it was New York and why not? And my parents were fully supportive of the idea. And when I got there, I just fell in love with New York in general. And then,
Oh, I love New York too. It's
yeah,
amazing.
and we shared the same floor as the drama department. And it's not like you can actually go into another division of
Mhm.
studies at Juilliard, obviously, but it kind of exposed me to other areas of entertainment. And um, I ended up kind of I was injured a lot in my last couple years at Juilliard, and it just made me realize that this wasn't an area of profession that I wanted to pursue just because my body kept hurting. So I decided, you know what, let me just try acting. And I didn't finish my studies at Juilliard like my parents wanted me to, but
Mhm.
um, we uh, we just decided that if I wanted to stay in New York, I'm going to have to pursue some sort of degree and education
Of course.
along with,
You need a piece of paper. Yeah.
an Asian family.
Yeah.
What more could you want? Um, so yeah, in order for me to continue acting, I had to continue going to school. So while I was auditioning during the day, I was actually getting my BBA in marketing and advertising at a city college in New York. And that was like 6 o'clock in the morning studies, auditions during the day, and 7 o'clock at night classes. So it was a full plate. Um, and then I got my first acting gig on All My Children, which lasted for about like 5 years until I moved away from New York to LA. And yeah, that's kind of where everything started.
Oh, that's really cool. So, yeah, I mean, I got this call from, it was from CBC, so they wanted me to ask you a little bit about Working Moms. So was
Yeah.
it from the very beginning, was it a very diverse cast? Because I noticed it when it first came out, and there were all these, different type of mothers and different situations, and I thought that was really neat.
I love that diversity in Canada and
Hmm.
on all Canadian shows is really reflective of what is actually real life. So I appreciate the fact that, it wasn't like the Sex and the City times,
Hmm.
or like the Friends times where everybody was basically Caucasian and the supporting characters were diverse.
Hmm.
Rarely even
That is true, yes.
thinking about when you watch episodes of that show, you saw one Asian.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit cringy now when you see them sort of imitating people
Yeah,
and making jokes, and you're like,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It's so, and it's also like misogynistic, and it's just really crazy how like everything now, is a little bit more sensitive to. culture and race and everything, of importance.
Yes, that's
But yeah,
true.
working moms is great just because, and I think also diversity aside, I think it really hones in on the reality of how tough it is to be a mom
Hmm.
and also pursue a career at the same time. It's exhausting. I mean, I'm doing it right now. Like
It's true.
I have an almost 14-month-old, and I've never been busier in my life.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I write vampire books, and in a way, I think children are like sucking up my energy. Well, I only have one kid, but still, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
yeah,
a lot.
just get so
A lot.
tired.
One of my
Yeah.
friends who just came over, she has 4 kids, and I'm
Oh
like,
my God. Yeah.
how do you put makeup on? How do you brush your hair?
Mhm.
I didn't even know.
Yeah. Oh, you hear back in the day, people would have 7 or 8, because there was no birth control and there was no way of stopping it to just
Yeah.
keep having kids. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your character, Jenny Matthews, on this show? And because not everyone's familiar. Like, can you, I guess, summarize like what happened in the beginning to now, kind of?
Jenny Matthews kind of marches to the beat of her own drum. Not kind of, a lot. Um, initially in season 1, she realizes that motherhood doesn't suit her and it doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily fulfill her, in terms of happiness and, identity, like losing yourself because you're there for somebody else. And she makes choices, and it ultimately affects her relationship with her then husband, Ian. And moving forward, we focus on Jenny's mistakes and probably actions and decisions that affect her in the office place and also in her current relationship with MCP, played by Alex Malari, who is Filipino. And so season 5 is really exciting because it really explores that relationship more. Because they do, if you haven't watched the show, they work together in the same
Hmm.
office, and that um, push and pull of professionalism and intimacy and how to maneuver around all of that and social, so society is it's that's where this season goes with Jenny, and I can't wait for you guys to watch it.
Well, we're looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, she
Um,
actually makes her appearance tomorrow. So
hmm,
wait, yeah, Tuesday. So episode
okay.
3, season 5.
So when you guys were filming the season, did COVID affect it, or was it, yeah, filmed a while ago?
Well, so we filmed in September,
Okay.
and it was definitely stressful and worrisome, but Catherine and the whole production definitely it it made us feel better and at ease with the protocols that they set forth for everybody on set. Like, we had to get tested twice a week.
Hmm.
That was mandatory. And you just had to make sure that you were accountable for everybody else on set, because
Hmm.
if one person got sick, then who
Oh, of
knows?
course.
And
Yeah.
so, and that was always like at the back of my head, just, wondering if everybody else is doing their part. And
Hmm.
me and the director and Alex, we had to discuss, because we had a couple like intimate scenes.
Hmm.
Just had to make sure that we all felt
Hmm.
comfortable on the same level and we were all on the same page.
So you've done mostly TV work, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain to someone that doesn't know, like, how does it work? Like, do you work for a few, like, you audition, you get the part, you work for a few months, and then you take off for a few months, and you come back, and
Yeah. So the actor life is the starving artist life. Every job is a miracle. And I mean, it's a combination of luck and timing, and um, obviously talent helps a lot too. Um, but I'd say luck for the most part is the key. Um, yeah, every audition, which is probably hundreds a year, First of all, you're lucky enough to even get the opportunity to audition these days.
Hmm.
Um, and it being, during the pandemic, the industry has definitely shifted a lot. Um, but film, for some reason, is like really hard to tap into, especially if you're in the TV world. And
Hmm.
I love the TV world. Like, I
Hmm.
just love getting to work on a character and, be welcomed into somebody's home on their streaming device or on a weekly basis. Like, that's just something that I love just because these characters are part of these people's world,
Hmm.
and life. And they get to see them grow and make mistakes and relate to them in any sort of way. So, yeah, auditioning for TV is like a dream for me. And when you book the job, it's even more a dream just because you get paid to do what you love.
Hmm. Yeah, actually, yeah, my mom was telling me to stop writing and become a YouTuber. And I was
Oh,
like, Mom, it's a lot of work to become a YouTuber too.
it's a lot of work and you have
Yeah,
to know
like no
how
matter,
to use
what
all of
you
that.
choose.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were in so many different shows. Do you have like a character that you particularly like on the show, or
Um, on on working moms or in
in
general?
general?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so there was actually this fun limited summer series that I did for ABC called Scoundrels with Virginia
Hmm.
Madsen, and I got to play the daughter of like this Asian mob guy, and the show didn't last that long, but we shot in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was just one of the most fun characters I'd gotten to play just because she's so sassy, and some of the words that came out of her mouth, even just like Jenny, I think like I get to play a
Hmm.
lot of these fun
Yeah.
opinionated characters who oftentimes get themselves in trouble. So
Hmm.
um I really can't like classify that being my absolute favorite role, but I
Hmm.
mean the fact that I get to play all of these strong women,
Yes.
I think that's what I really I die for.
That's pretty cool. So for someone, I know you probably get this question a lot. Like if they're new and they want to get into TV, like what advice would you give to them?
Go to class,
Hmm.
study, study, learn the ins and outs of the industry. It doesn't necessarily have to be in front of the camera that,
Hmm.
works in your favor, because that's like some of the hardest part. Um, I would just say, like, any opportunity you get, learn.
Hmm.
You can't just jump in thinking that it's going to be easy, because
Hmm.
it's not. There's a lot of heartbreak. So if you're sensitive like me, you'll curl up into a ball more often than not,
Hmm.
and worry that you're not good enough, or you just doubting yourself. So
Hmm.
a lot of it is just knowing that you have the foundation to know how to act, to know, what the industry takes, like, what they expect of you. Um, you can't just do this green. I mean, I started green, but that was a different time. And now, like with all of these limited series going up where Nicole Kidman is on a TV show these days instead of a movie, like that's what you're competing against now.
Yeah.
So it's just, and also on top of that, like the union just accepted a bunch of like social media influencers to join the
Hmm.
union in the US. So that's definitely affecting how the industry is looking at viewership and popularity. But on top of that, you have to have, if in order to have longevity in this career, you have to be able to back it up with talent. So
Hmm.
that's my biggest advice.
Yeah, it sounds like you need a lot of grit and perseverance as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
I don't have any grit.
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing in this industry. It's so heartbreaking at times, but when you actually have the opportunity to work on something, it makes all of that heartbreak worth it.
Yeah. So, are you seeing more opportunities for diverse people when you audition, like when you get, you know, chances to read? Yeah.
Yes, a
Yes.
100%. I mean, no offense, but if you're Caucasian and a male,
Yeah.
you're it's so hard.
Hmm.
Um, and that's from experience of like my husband used to be in the industry
Hmm.
and you didn't start early enough. I mean, the chances of you actually excelling is it's just so difficult. But with this whole BIPOC movement right now,
Hmm.
especially behind the camera, I think that's even more important these days, just because those are the people that are writing the characters that
Hmm.
I play. And so the more I see writers and directors and producers doing their thing, I think this industry definitely is geared up for
Hmm.
a massive change, especially, like the Golden Globes last night. Out of 87 members, there's not one African American member
Hmm. Yeah.
that's representing what's out there.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of prevalent that we keep pushing and fighting for representation out there because that's not what the world is right now.
Hmm.
Like it's not white. It's not all white, especially Canada.
Hmm.
Like Canada's a melting pot. So we have to have a system in place where there's actually inclusion with diversity and not just women, but all
Yes.
everybody.
Yes. True enough. So one last question. Do you have any new projects on the horizon? Anything else you're working on?
I mean, is that the story of my life? Projects in terms of acting. Sorry, I'm in an interview. I'm being interviewed. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Projects in terms of acting, obviously, I'm just auditioning and seeing what opportunities hopefully will come about. It's been busy for me the last couple weeks, so we'll see. We don't know. I mean, I keep myself busy with taking care of my kid, and I also do real estate,
Hmm.
2 states now. So,
Yeah.
um, I those are my projects right now. I have clients that I'm working with in California, and yeah, that's my life.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us, and we were not interrupted by any children, so that's a
Yep,
bonus.
husband.
All right. So, good luck on all your projects,